This is Radio on Fire. And yours truly, Diamond K, in here, broadcasting from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. And that was not supposed to happen. Okay. Live radio, so things do happen. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by the upcoming reality show Chase the Dream Baltimore. See a group of fresh, talented artists with personalities as strong as their rhymes navigate through life, love, and the entertainment business. Who will rise to the top on this journey while they chase the dream? Visit facebook.com/chase the dream now. So I have a special guest in the building. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Lloyd Wheatley. My family and friends call me Jeffrey. That's the name I grew up on in Baltimore.
Okay.
So they'll know who I am. But I'm a published author, also an entrepreneur, business owner out of Dover, Delaware. Currently is where I live, and I'm down here at home in Charm City.
So you were born here in Baltimore?
Yes, sir.
Well, east side or west side?
East side. No,
okay.
No, west side.
Really?
West side.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to go in on the east side. No.
But I went to school on the east side. I went to City College High School, but I lived in Wolver Junction in Baltimore.
So you had it rough then.
No, you know what?
Was it different then?
It was different then. You know, it was a total different thing, and it was more of we got your back.
Is this when WEBB was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right on the corner. James Brown owned it.
Right.
And he would come in and sit there, and then everybody would see him, and then just the whole corner would light up.
So that's our next location. I want something similar to that. So this is before my time, but from the way my father described it is that you could see the broadcast happening from the street.
Absolutely.
So people could see it. Right. And so that's what I want for Radio on Fire.
Okay.
But I didn't want to be on the first floor. I wanted to be on the second floor where people could drive by and see it. I didn't want to be on the ground level.
You don't want to do that. Down there gonna crash, man.
Right. I want to be up. I want to be up higher. And so but that's the next location we're gonna have.
Okay.
It's gonna be something like that. So you how would you describe what you do to people?
I would say I'm more of an educator and a teacher in that regard. I was actually struggling in junior high school. A lot of people don't know this, but I actually flunked history. It was one of my worst subjects. But now, as I went to college and graduate school and got in the Fortune 500 and got to be more responsible, is one of my favorite subjects. So,
why do you think that you struggled with it? History was my favorite subject.
It was just boring. I didn't see a lot of us in the history.
That's true.
Narrowly focused, and I'm talking 1968, 69. So it was narrowly focused, not like
so. That's what. So when you were in high school, junior high school, we're talking about mid 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely
it was narrow, man. It was narrow, and that was part of the thing. I don't want to sound, but I was not interested, and it was just boring, and I didn't see anything in it. And as I got actually educated, and I was sent to the Lamel High School for summer school. And so when we got there, I can't remember the teacher. I tried to find her in my research, and she said, "We're not going to teach you the history you learned in school when you got here. We're going to teach you U.S. history, but we're going to teach you Black U.S. history." And I was like, "What?"
This is summer school.
Yeah, this is summer school. What? And so she, and by the way, you're not going to sit in your desk. We're going to sit in a round table here, and we're going to help each other. And we're going to do murals. We're going to do research with the Britannica encyclopedias and all. We're like, what? And so from that point, it just ignited. And from
so it was the teacher.
It was the teacher.
And the curriculum.
It was the teacher.
So after that must have been an interesting dose of summer school for you. Mm-hmm. That changed your perspective.
Absolutely. That changed the perspective. And from that point on, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I excelled pretty much. I never had a problem academically since.
Even with some of the narrowly focused curriculum that I'm sure you experienced after that enlightenment.
Right.
So were you an avid reader before that?
No. Now I am. And that's an interesting thing that you mentioned. I was pretty struck by some of the statistics, depending on where you go, some of the statistics, I can't get out, statistics will tell you that 80% of people don't read. It's only like 20%. And I thought that was kind of fascinating because we have a lot of libraries.
Definitely.
And we have, presidential libraries. They have Enoch Pratt, I think, was the one here in Baltimore. And I had a library card, and I would go read all the books. Curious George was one of the ones I always looked like a little monkey running around doing some stuff, mischief things. But those were the things that I was reading back then. And so I had a library card, but didn't know it was so many people that didn't actually read. So that was surprising. And then we said, well, we can do something about that. One of the mobiles would go around was called "Reading is Fundamental."
Oh yeah,
that was one of the slogans they had, and they, was able to help bring that as an awareness in our community and stuff, and through the schools, and it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as coming from the business world and academia, how did you become an author?
It was a hobby. Actually, I was in corporate America. And as you have these companies, others come in and take them over.
Yeah.
And they're not raiders, but they take them over. They just buy in. And when they did that, I was in a Fortune 500 company as a manager. And it was dealing in feminine products. I don't know if I can say the brand. And I say the brand.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was Playtex, family products. And I was in that corporation at the time, and they came through, and Harrison and Haas bought them out. Crown Cork and Seal had bought some other parts. Sara Lee Cakes and Pies. Sara Lee Corporation came and bought 680 million shares of it. And then that company just kind of broke apart. They had the apparel division and the family products. Anyway, we get a package and we get severed out, 17 of us. And so I was sitting home, and I've always had this in my head. And so I had a lot of time. I said, let me go ahead and write this. And a lot of people don't know the book, which is the complete trilogy today, was a 3-part miniseries, paperback. And they were very, very small, 80, 90 pages. And they got dispersed through 3 different publishing companies or printing companies. And then 2 of them went out of business. So 17 years later, some swell became about it. I talked with a professor at Dell State University, Dr. Church and Dr. Perrine. And all of a sudden they said, you need to redo this. And I did. And then, of course, it's been now used in their English and Mass Comm department at Dell State University.
And that is Blaine Hawk, U.S. Marshal.
Yes, the complete trilogy.
The complete trilogy. So when you say that they use it, how do they incorporate it into what they're doing over there? Well,
it's in the English department, and then they also use it in the Mass Comm. And they look at it for structure, writing content. Then they look at the actual storyline itself to see if it's a good plot and how it can follow and stay focused into the narrative. So it's those type of things is being used for. And I oftentimes go back and lecture with them. I come back as a guest speaker.
So we were talking off air about it, and I guess the motivation behind it, which I found very fascinating. If you could talk a little bit about that.
The motivation is
the actual story.
Oh, the actual story.
Yeah.
The actual story. My background is a little bit in law enforcement, and I was always fascinated by the cowboy stories on television, the Lone Ranger, and we were talking about that. Lone Ranger, and they had the Wild Wild West, and Artemis Gordon and those guys. But the Lone Ranger in particular was probably the most famous. Clayton Moore was the guy rode around. But I was watching a reenactment show out of Baltimore at home, and these Civil War reenactors was on there, and they mentioned a guy named Bass Reeves. And I never knew who he was. So I said, who was this Bass Reeves? Now, this mine is 17, 18 years ago. So I go look him up and found out he was a Black U.S. Marshal. And I said, wow, I didn't know we had a Black U.S. Marshal.
Me either.
And so when I go and look him up, find out everything about him was the Lone Ranger. He had the white horse, the shiny black boots. He was wealthy. He had an Indian scout. Okay, was trusted with him. And he was the most loyal, most trusted. Now, he worked out of Fort Smith in Arkansas. And Judge Isaac Parker, which is known as the hanging judge, he was the actual guy that was appointed there by Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah, he's a famous person.
So when he gets down there, the first thing he does is commission these marshals. Bass was one of them, and the longest serving and the most loyal. So the Lone Ranger story is really about Bass Reeves.
That's amazing. So he didn't wear the mask. Right.
He didn't wear the mask.
The
right.
only thing they add the mask.
mask.
So the Lone Ranger, I guess some of the younger people, this was like a weekly show.
Right.
And he solves a crime. So just picture like Law and Order, but it's just more law.
Right.
And he actually solves the crimes and around in the area, riding on a horse, got a gun, that type of thing.
But the other thing is, Don, what's interesting?
What?
You notice sometimes he would be in disguise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's another fact about Bass Reeves. He was a master of disguises.
Wow.
So that was another one of those attributes they took and said, let's make this part of what the Lone Ranger is.
Yeah, and you had generation of kids, young men that grew up idolizing this guy. I'm sure, Halloween costumes.
Right.
I mean, we were playing stuff like that. So my father's generation and my generation. So that was very inspiring for the book.
Yeah, that was inspiring for the book. And as I started and I looked at Bass, he was one of them. The truth is, we had several, about 100 or so Black U.S. Marshals, Native Americans. Some with Crowder, Nix. You had Neely Factor. You had Garrett. These guys, Van Rogers. Rogers was one. Ike Rogers, rather. He was one of them. And so these guys were usually together in 2 and 3 at a time. And they served and they had commissions. So they would actually expire and they had to go back and, be recommissioned. And that went on for quite a while. A lot of them were killed on the roads and stuff.
Like in the line of duty.
In the line of duty.
Yeah.
And there's a museum in Arkansas. It's at Fort Smith. It enshrines these marshals, and it tells you who they are. They kept records. There was another repository in McAllister fort that they actually would transport people between Fort Smith and McAllister. So, Isaac Parker, as you know, he's one of the people, and that's an interesting point too. I didn't say this in the story. There are several people that are factual, and these people are not marshals, and they're not cowboys per se, and they're individuals that are factual in history. Their names are in italic, and they come in contact with our main characters. And there's 4 main characters in the book. The book actually has a lot of drama. There are some social issues in there, race esteem issues are going to be parts of what you're going to hear. And there's some atrocities going on because you have a very, very bad villain running through the book. And that's part of the whole thing that drives, the revenge issue. People like to deal with revenge as a part. So that's what keeps us going in the story. But you're going to come across these real people, and they have things they contributed to American history that were very, very positive. And in fact, one of them is a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and he was a Buffalo soldier from the 10th Cavalry, and he's actually from Baltimore, and that's Augusta Wally. And he passed away. His last address that I saw was on Edding Street in Baltimore. So served gallantly, hero, real sharp guy. Again, people may not ever heard of him.
Yeah.
But
so you really have, through your research, just found out a lot of great people that a lot of people don't know.
Right. And we hope to get that out. And as we also were talking, we want to see that get into more colleges. Hopefully Morgan State University. We're going to be there on October 7th.
Right.
We're going to be in Easton, Maryland on September 23rd. The Frederick Douglass Society contacted me and asked me to come down and do a book signing, so we'll be there. Buffalo Soldiers had a 25th anniversary gala at the Chase Center in Wilmington back in April. And they asked me to be there. I was so glad. I was honored. I got there. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to do. Hug y'all guys, fall on the floor. I don't know what to do. It was so much fun up there. They treated me so well. And and did a book signing as well. So I was a speaker, and they let me do a book signing there. It was just a great time. And so I'm just having fun with this.
So people can get the book now on the website.
Yes.
newhorizonpub.com. And they can go there and get Blaine Hawk, U.S. Marshal, the complete trilogy.
Yeah, they have to click on the web store link.
Right. Click on the web store link. An epic tale of murder and vengeance and a tribute to the U.S. Marshals of the 19th century.
Sir.
So also, it seems as though you are helping people create books.
Yes. Yes. I do some mentoring on several fronts. One part is the business itself. We have a limousine company and we help people in business that actually do that type of business. The other business we do is help people with their literary works. We give them structure. As a couple of that we had as one young lady, she just done a religious book that deals with some things. Dr. Well, I'm going to say Reverend Karen Shockley. I help her do her book. And there's another guy we're working with in Florida. He has a story, Wuthering Heights kind of tale, but it was from his experiences in Vermont. So we're working with him. He's a deputy sheriff in the Dade County.
Oh, wow.
Down there. And so
he's getting a lot of work down there.
Yeah. Well, we go back. We were together in the Air Force together. That's how I know him.
So you're helping these people make their imagination become a reality.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that
ignite
is
your imagination. Right?
Yeah,
come and we'll help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you touched on the fact that you're going to be here in Baltimore October 7th.
Yes.
For the African American Authors Expo.
Yes.
At Morgan State. Is this your first time?
Yes, this is my first time coming here at home, and so it's an exciting time. I really look forward to it, and plus I have family. I get to go visit them too.
Yeah, that's always good.
This is going to be a new adventure, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of speakers, a lot of authors. This is an event for the whole family. People can come through and meet. So you'll be able to, meet with readers and shake hands and take pictures.
Looking forward to
sell books and all that kind of stuff.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So is anything else that we need to touch on that we didn't get?
No, my wife is from here, and she was also a veteran, and so I don't want to. Yeah, she's from here, and so we met in the military, and that was 43 years ago.
Wow.
Just Wednesday last week that we've been married.
That you've been married. Okay.
So I'm dating. That's why I'm not 100. So everybody say, how can that be? He doesn't look that old.
Right. Goodness gracious. Okay. So y'all met then. That's good.
Girl. That's my girl. And so we've been, she's done a lot. She's been right there through the good and the bad.
So there's been bad?
Yeah, you know that. What relationship don't have bad?
No, absolutely, definitely. Congratulations to you. My parents, 45 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I know that.
Yeah, 45 years. Cloth. Yeah, 45 years. My parents. So you guys met in the military. My parents met somewhere similar, Mondawmin Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my parents met at Mondawmin Mall. But so they met at Mondawmin Mall. We would go in the mall sometimes, and my father. So I guess he was if you're familiar with Mondawmin Mall, he was on the upper level, and my mother was down on the lower level near where they have the water fountain now. And
that's
so he
still
said,
there?
Yes, yeah, it is. It is. So he said he saw her. He went downstairs, and attempted to get to know her, and so she kind of shunned him, and it's this long process. But fast forward, and I'm here, and
there you go.
3 sisters. And,
I actually have
goodness for persistence.
I got 2 sisters here and a brother.
Okay.
And our oldest daughter actually lives here. Her name is Faith, and she's at the Baltimore City Police Department.
Okay.
And so she's not a police officer, but she's there. And my granddaughters are here. And
so you got to come through Baltimore often then?
Yeah, I come here often.
Yeah, well, that is good. That is good. And so, again, the website is newhorizonpub.com, and people can get the book by clicking the web store link on the website. And anywhere else?
Yeah, one other thing I'm going to say very quickly. The other part is we were featured in the Del State newspaper for Black History Month.
That's
and
good.
They did this a nationwide, a statewide newspaper. Not nationwide, it was a statewide paper. And so from that, I got a lot of traction, some interest in doing a television show or movie. So we made some contact with some people in Los Angeles. Daryl Reed is out there. Winola Jackson is another lady I'm working with. And the Reed brothers are kind of, they have some connections at some point in time. And so anyway, we have script and everything in hand, just looking for somebody to help us with that, maybe a television show or stream it on the internet. But I know Baltimore having such a good reputation of movies. And there's a Donald that's down there. He's another brother production. He's from Baltimore as well. He started getting me on this thing a long time ago. So I got to say that about him. He's probably listening. But we just so much want to do that. So anybody that you might want to point our way, we got a script in hand. We got everything ready to go. And we just want to do this.
So that's good. I definitely know a lot of people that could probably be helpful in that regard.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So I definitely thank you for taking time to speak with me. I'm going to see you at the African American Authors Expo.
Yes,
so I will be there for that. This will be my fifth one. This will be my fifth one. Yeah, so I'll be there. That's you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
All right.
It's also gonna be a very good networking event. Huh?
I mean, you get me some food or something. I mean, when I say buy me, can you?
I don't know if they have food there.
Hamburger or something.
Yeah,
ribs or something.
Well, something. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We'll work that out. We'll definitely work that out. Definitely. So stay tuned. We're gonna come back. We're gonna play some music, and we'll come back and have another author in the house. All right. So stay tuned, y'all.